In this video, I'm going to show you how to put multiple graphs in the same plotting region. In this particular case, we're going to put multiple histograms in the same plotting region. To do this, we're going to need to have some numerical values to make these graphs out of. So I'm going to have R randomly generate some values from a normal distribution. And so I'll use this rnorm command. And then I'm going to have it generate some from a chi-square distribution. And in this case, I'll use 2 degrees of freedom. No particular reason, I just need to pick something for that. And then I'll have it generate 1,000 data values from a uniform distribution that's running between 0 and 1. So those 3 commands will generate me basically a total of 3,000 data values. Now, what I'd want to do next is actually say, well, let's make some histograms and see what happens. And if I do this and run all this code here, what I'll actually get is 3 separate histograms. They're in 3 plotting windows. If I want to have them all show up in the same plotting window, I have to change this global parameter in R. And so I use this par command, and then I'm going to use this guy that's called mfrow. I don't actually know what it stands for, but it does what I want. And then I throw in a column vector, and the column vector is basically first element is going to be the number of rows I want to plot, and then it's going to be the second element, the number of columns I want to plot. So in this case, I'm going to have 1 row and 3 columns. I have 3 graphs that I want to have there, so I want to have 1 row, 3 columns worth of graphs. So if I run all of this, I'm going to get 1 region with my graphs side by side. Now something you should notice here is if I change this to say 2 and I run this again, I actually get a bunch of white space down there. And that's because R is waiting to have more graphs fill that in. So if I throw this down here and run this, it'll pop in X again. And if I run it again, I get the next one. And then if I do this, and maybe I throw in Y, I fill that in there. So it will wait for graphs to fill in these regions until it gets enough to fill it in. Now if I have it make another graph, it's going to start over fresh, and it's going to look for 6 graphs to fill across, and go down and fill across again. So if I want to make more graphs in the future, and I don't want to have them being in this sort of 2 by 3 matrix of graphs, what I have to do is I have to change that plotting parameter, or this parameter here anyway, to something else. So if I want to go back to the original setting, I change this, and now it's going to ignore that this didn't get finished. And if I just tell it to make a histogram of something, it'll be a single one in the window again. So I can use this parameter function and then this setting right here to put multiple graphs in the same plot, or change it back to just putting 1 graph in 1 plot.